Hi, I'm AJ Schuler. I'm the founder of Schuler Solutions, and this is a video for you if you are a contractor who is maybe interested in finding opportunities for work as in management consulting. So my company Schuler Solutions, I've restarted after having done it earlier in a different part of my career in 2014, and now I'm growing to the point where I can take on other subcontractors, but I want to do it in a particular way. And the best way that I can describe that to you is probably with a story, so bear with me, please. So have you ever noticed, if you're a music person, as I love all different kinds of music, if you ever notice, if you listen to a song that maybe you've heard 1,000 times, but you put on the earbuds and you listen to it, you can hear parts of the production and elements of the track that maybe you haven't noticed before, whether it's background vocals or one particular instrument or something like that. Well, I had that experience with an old rock and roll song that I'd heard 1,000 times. It was called Be My Baby by the Ronettes. Maybe you heard it. Be my little baby. You know how it goes. So anyway, I'm listening to that song, and what was striking to me was that opening drum beat. It's very iconic in among drummers, actually. It goes boom, 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 ch, boom, 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 ch, and then the music builds up, and then as I listened to that, as I focused in on that drum beat, I noticed that the drummer was doing all different kinds of creative little signatures, never really repeating exactly the same thing in really interesting ways throughout the song, and then just kind of going nuts at the end of the song in all kinds of different, like a spark of creativity. And I thought, who is that? Who laid down that drum track? So I went to look it up, and it turns out this is a drummer by the name of Hal Blaine, B-L-A-I-N-E, and he's famous, apparently, and he was part of a whole group, a network of session musicians in Los Angeles in the 60s and into the early 70s, who together formed this sort of network of pros who got called into all different kinds of recording sessions, different musicians, different solo artists, bands, and together this loose network called the Wrecking Crew collaborated on thousands of recording sessions together and hundreds of top 40 hits. Songs you know, but you don't know you're listening to these people because they weren't on the front of the label. They were the session musicians. So songs like, they did the instrumentation for the Beach Boys' Good Vibrations. You're hearing Brian Wilson's vocals and the other Beach Boys singing, but you're hearing these session artists from the Wrecking Crew doing the musicianship. California Dreamin' by the Mamas and Papas, The Sounds of Silence by Simon and Garfunkel, and the list goes on and on and on. So in discovering this and researching this, I thought, that's the kind of, if I could create a platform for that kind of thing, for pros, people in consulting who really get a kick out of creating and collaborating together and making a difference for clients, that's my ideal. That's what I want to experience at this stage of my life and my career, and create the platform for others to enjoy. So what I'm after with Schuler Solutions is creating a way for great professionals who are really good at what they do, their instrument, their area of expertise, who enjoy the experience of working with other professionals, but also enjoy the autonomy and flexibility that comes with working as an independent. Sometimes that also can mean people who, for whatever reason, at an earlier stage of their career, are not working full-time. Maybe they're taking care of family, maybe they're raising children, whatever. There is talent out there. But oftentimes when we work in contract relationships, we don't have the experience of really growing together. We work in isolation. That all sounds well and good. I can hear you saying that, and other people say that, but let me add a little bit more detail here. Because I've been a contractor, a subcontractor, and I know what it's like to work in some of these relationships that are maybe not the best. So I'm going to throw some things out there, and maybe you've experienced some of these. Have you ever worked in a contract relationship where you're in a management consulting gig and it's part of a larger project, but the people who put the project together and who are managing your work from the prime contractor's point of view don't really understand what you do, and they've created expectations and checklist items and statements of work with the customer that aren't really the best way to do things? And so you find yourself having to deliver things that you know are inefficient or not the best way to go about things. And you don't feel that you're helping the client as much. And you're not really invited to be able to shape how things should be because the list has already been set. Have you ever had that experience? Have you ever had the experience with a contractor where they, because of pressures in the sales department and the shareholders and so forth, they have to hit certain targets and growth and metrics and revenue pieces, and they sometimes ask you to do things that maybe are not really inside your wheelhouse, and you feel a little bit frustrated that you need more time to do it well, and you know that there are other people who can maybe help you, but they're not available, and you end up being forced to maybe produce work that you think is probably not the best and not as good as it should be. Have you ever had that experience? Have you ever had the experience similarly where a contractor maybe expects you, but without unspoken expectation, to be available on demand without any other commitments, that you can move on a dime, no matter what your other client relationships are or family commitments are, to fulfill a newly expanded scope that they have that they want to ask you to do, and you don't really feel engaged as a professional? Have you ever had that experience? All kinds of ways where we in our working lives can end up sometimes feeling like cogs in a contract deliverables machine, and not as professionals with creativity and agency and things to contribute. There are institutional, that's not all about bad people doing these things. It's good people maybe operating under the incentives and structures that they live under. But at Schuler Solutions, those are the things I don't want to recreate. I had that experience on the other end, and it's not what I enjoy, and it's not what I learn from. I don't have the opportunity to learn from other people working in isolation and contract relationships like that. And I want to create a platform like the Wrecking Crew, where we can create a little network of pros who can work together and collaborate to make a difference for clients. What that means is my approach to business is not driven by, oh, there's a posting for a proposal, let's go after it, and then I'll plug in names and resumes afterwards. No, I want to build a network of relationships with talented professionals who are enthusiastic about the idea of potential, maybe working together and putting our talents together so that we can create impact above and beyond what our individual abilities would be, and then using that understanding to identify opportunities and needs among clients where maybe we can help. So it's more people and relationship driven than it is posting opportunity contract driven. That's my ideal and my approach. Maybe it's an experiment. Maybe I can't pull it off, but I think I can. And if this turns you on, I can do it with your help, maybe. So the next step, if you're interested in this, if this excites you, maybe, then please go to my website. You'll find this video posted there, but go to my website, schulersolutions.com, SCHULER solutions.com, and go to the opportunities page, and where you find this video and a little short write-up, you'll find a little link to a form that I've set up, basically through SurveyMonkey, where you can make me aware that you're out there. Tell me a little bit about yourself, what your needs are, what your interests are, what your areas of expertise are, and I will use that as an ongoing database to help me identify people to maybe follow up with as time allows, or as I see potential overlap or opportunity, and build relationships proactively so that maybe we can find opportunities to work together in the future. That's it. That's the action step. It doesn't doing this, filling out this little form, doesn't obligate you to anything, and it doesn't obligate me to anything, but it just means we're getting to know each other, and we can figure out, like peers, like professionals, whether or not there's a basis through which to continue conversation. If you have any questions, you can email me at info@schulersolutions.com. That's SCHULER solutions.com, INFO. And that's it. I appreciate your feedback and any thoughts you might have about this video, and if you do respond and fill out the form, I welcome the opportunity, if it presents itself, to get to know you better and hopefully maybe someday do something special for a client and create some hits like the Wrecking Crew. Thanks.